Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm doing a pickup video for the games that I've recently picked up. A lot of these have come from like Vinted, got a couple from Amazon in their spring deals. Without further ado, let's jump into the pickups that I've got this month. Right, so this is one of the parcels I ordered this month. And this was from the Amazon spring deals, I think. It was called something like that. It's their most recent sale anyway. So let's just get this open, I suppose, and have a look at what I ordered. Well, that's obviously how this is going to go. Let's see if I can do it from this side any better. There we go. Right, so I'll just do it in the order. So the game on top is Dustborn, and this doesn't say on here, but I'm sure it was like the deluxe edition or something like that. It's a game I've seen crop up quite a few times, and you know, this was the time where I initially pulled the trigger. Was it £12 or £15, somewhere around that mark? But just some of the stuff you can see that you get in this. It looks like you get a bunch of like maps and other little bits and pieces, stickers, an art book, I'm guessing that one is, and obviously the copy of the game. But it's just something that looks quite interesting. Thought I'd pick it up. Don't know that much about it, but you know, when you get a deluxe edition like this to add to the shelf, you know, especially with art like that on the side, it's always something interesting to look at. So that's that one. Next one is Tchia, the Eleti edition. Now I remember this being a game that was announced quite early on in the PS5 life cycle, and it looked somewhat interesting. From what I picked up from the trailers, it was like a girl who kind of loves nature taking on kind of like an oil company or something like that. But this one was, I think it was £7, £8, and I will be interested to give it a go at some point. The next one is Balatro Special Edition with the 10 Balatro cards you get inside. Now obviously this took the internet by storm earlier this year, so obviously I haven't played this yet in terms of like the real game, but I've played and platinumed Dave the Diver, and there is the Balatro game in Dave the Diver, and you can play with some NPCs in that game. So one I am looking forward to play. I've heard the platinum can be a bit of a pain to get, but you know, this looks really interesting and really fun, so that's why I picked that one up. Next one, another one that looks really fun and just a bit of like a, you know, turn your brain off kind of game. This is Squirrel with a Gun. Fight tooth, claw and gun. As you can see, you get a few little bits and pieces, a sticker sheet and a poster inside this one. And the vibe I got from this game was just Goat Simulator, but obviously you're a squirrel with a gun. Looks really fun, something that I would really enjoy playing, and I could tell from the trailers. Sorry, Balatro I think was like 13 to 15, somewhere around there. I think this was about the same, about £15 in the sale obviously. And then the final game, dig around a bit for it. So obviously we've had Monster Hunter Wilds come out recently, and I've been absolutely loving it. It kind of got me on a bit of a Monster Hunter kind of vibe again. I've picked up Monster Hunter Rise for the Switch, so when I'm sitting with the kids or out on the go, I can play Monster Hunter then. But I've heard that this is kind of like Pokemon and Monster Hunter had a baby. If you know me and you've seen my game room, you will know that I do love Pokemon. So clashing them two things together is something that does really take my fancy. But the reason I wanted to get it brand new is because, as you can see there, PSN voucher code for Monster Hunter Stories 2. So this on the disc is actually only Monster Hunter Stories 1, and to get this, you know, either buy it off the PlayStation Store, which I think it is in the sale, but it's still like £16 at the moment, or I could just buy this for, I think it was 32 I got it for. So another game that I ordered from Amazon at the same time, but come in a separate package for some reason, and I've already opened, is Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Now, this game is very similar in vibe and art style to Jet Set Radio, and I remember playing that a lot back in the day and absolutely loving it. The style, the music, it was just a game that takes me back. But when I saw this and saw how similar it was to Jet Set Radio, I knew I had to pick it up at some point, but I've just been biding my time and waiting for a chance to get it at a decent price, and I think it was around about the £15 price as well, and I was happy to pick it up for that. So yeah, that was my little Amazon haul for this month. Let's jump on to looking at the rest of the games that I've picked up. So these next 4 games are all ones that I picked up from my local game, and it was the game store that I used to work at, because unfortunately that game store is closing down. On the final day I popped in, I was told by some of the people who still work there that I'm still friends with that it was closing and they were doing a big sale on all the stuff. So some of the games were 50% off, but most of them were 20%. And these were all in the 50% bins, and some of them are pretty decent prices. So the first one we'll talk about is Outcast, and as you can see it's on the PS5, and I think I ended up paying £5 for this. So a PS5 game for £5, you know, it's not very often you see that. And I know it's Outcast, and the first game didn't seem to perform so well, but this looked like an improvement, and for £5 I wasn't going to say no, and it was one of them. I wanted to pick up some stuff from that game store one final time. You know, I worked there for 5 years. It's a shame to see it go. Next one, I picked it up because I got it for £2 I think in the end, but that is Supermarket Shriek. Now, would I have bought this had it not been £2? Probably not. I can't see it being a game I'll really enjoy, but it looks like a fun game to play if you've got some friends round or you've got people to play with online. Similar to Nippon Marathon, it's just a game you can put on and have a laugh. So the next one is a game that I remember being so excited for it, but I didn't pick it up on launch, and then I saw the reviews, and that game is Biomutant. Now, as you can see, it was $7.99 but 50% off. So for £4 I got this. I've heard it runs better now that they've added patches and, you know, tried to fix it as best they can. But for £4, I mean, it's brand new. As you can see, it's open. That's how Game do things, unfortunately, with their last copy. So the last game I picked up is the one that I'm probably the most interested in playing, and that is Ending Extinction is Forever. Now again, as you can see, £14. If you take 50% off of that, I paid £7 for this, which is, compared to CX's price, really good. This is just one of them games that has such a unique kind of style, and just the whole premise of it is unique. So obviously you play as a fox, and I'm guessing you're just trying to get through the world and protect your fox cubs. Something I've looked at before and been interested in playing, and then I saw it was in the 50% off box, and I knew it was coming back with me. So these next 2 games are games that I picked up from the first car boot I've been to this year. I did intend to record it, but I still don't feel quite comfortable recording out in public. But the first one I picked up is a PSP game. Again, I never intended to collect for the PSP. I had a small collection anyway and I was happy with that, and I just keep finding games and picking them up. This one is Siphon Filter Logan's Shadow, and it's all complete in the box. Comes with a manual, comes with this little slip with a very weird looking PSP code. Forgot they used to look like that. This all looks perfect. Again, a couple scratches on the plastic, but the disc itself is perfectly fine. So £3 I paid for this, and I think CX had it for 5 or 8, somewhere around there, so a little bit cheaper than CX. And the only other one I picked up was a PS2 game, and it was £1. And really what interested me was the condition of it more than anything for £1. I can't remember how much CX are this one for, but I know it's definitely more than that. And again, it's complete with a manual. It's a little, turns up a little bit in this corner, so you know, another PS2 game I'm adding to the collection. So as I mentioned, I picked up Monster Hunter Wilds. This was from Curry's, and this was their exclusive Steelbook edition. So you got the nice cardboard sleeve, and then you got this very nice steelbook, where if you open it up, you get a nice image of Arkveld. Now I think at this point I've put nearly 100 hours into the game, and I'm getting close to getting all of the crowns. I'd say I like to platinum my games, but absolutely fantastic game. So all the rest of these games are the vintage games I picked up this month. I do have a parcel that I'm waiting on, but it's looking like it won't get here till later next week, so I'll probably just add them to the next pickups video. So we'll start with a rare Switch pickup for me, and if you was paying attention earlier, you'll have heard that I picked up Monster Hunter Rise. So again, as I said, I'm on a bit of a Monster Hunter high at the moment, and I just can't get enough of it. So I thought the times where I can't play my PlayStation, I'll instead get my Switch out and I can jump on and, you know, do a quick hunt here and there in between looking after the kids and whatnot. As you can see, it's not in there because it is currently in the Switch. Also, this code wasn't used, which was a nice added bonus considering I got it off Vinted, and I paid £7 for this, which is an absolute bargain price. But yeah, I haven't really got too far into it. I've basically done the tutorial and the first hunt after that, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting further into Rise because I've heard good things about it. So the first bundle we'll talk about is probably the one that was the best in terms of value. It should have been 3 games. I've only got 2 now because I've already traded 1 in. So the 2 that I've still got that I'm keeping, DC League of Super Pets, The Adventures of Crypto and Ace. I mean, from the gameplay I can see on there, this game looks terrible. I mean, it looks kind of like a Subway Surfers kind of thing. Not sure if that's the actual case. Only reason I'm keeping it is because I don't already own it. I mean, I'll check out the gameplay of this and see if it is something that maybe I'll like. But if not, I'm sure when my sons get older, this will be something they'd be interested in playing. And the second game I'm keeping, and I can't believe I got it for the price I did, is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now with these games, I could never justify spending the money that they're going for nowadays, and I kind of just settled with the fact that I'd probably never own these. With this bundle, the third game I got with it was Crash Bandicoot The Insane Trilogy, and obviously that's worth quite a bit. CX, I think I got £12 trade for it. Now I only paid £15 for all 3 games, and the reason that I did that is because this seller had left the 50% off bundle deal on, and I was quite cheeky with it, so I got the 3 games, and then he had 2 plush toys on his profile for like £1 each, and I just added them to the cart. He did message and say I can't believe I left them on, but I will honour it. But I can't find them plushies, so I just said, yeah, don't worry about the plushies, just send the games. But yeah, considering I got the 3 games for £15 and I've traded in Crash for 12, I essentially got these 2 games for £3 if you want to look at it that way, which is the way I like to look at it. Essentially £1.50 each, and I now own a game that is worth, what, £30 I think. And this is the reason I love Vinted. If you look hard enough and you look often enough, you will come across deals like this. Going with that, we'll move on to the next bundle. Was 5 games for £18. Already traded one of them in, and I'm going to be trading another one in. It was another case of getting a game that I already own. So we'll go over that one first, and that is Metal Gear Solid The Phantom Pain. So I'll pick these 5 games from the seller because I believed I didn't own any of them yet. And then when I'm going to put these away on the shelf, realise I already own this one. You don't get too much for this nowadays. Obviously, if you're going to get an edition of this, the better one to get is it the Game of the Year? Next one was one I couldn't believe I didn't own, and I remember playing this on the Xbox and I did enjoy it. Not an amazing game by any stretch, but that is Murdered Soul Suspect. I did think the story was somewhat interesting. So in this game you play as a detective who is killed and comes back as a ghost, and you're working with someone who is still alive and can see you or hear you, and you're working with them to solve your own murder. I thought it was interesting. Maybe didn't end in the best way, but I am looking forward to giving this another playthrough and getting the platinum for it on the PlayStation. So the next one is probably one of the bigger flops on the PS4, and that game is Left Alive. So when this was announced, it was kind of seen as a competitor or a successor to Metal Gear Solid, and it just immediately flopped. They'd got, I think it was one of the artists or one of the designers of Metal Gear working with them, and for some reason it just, fell flat on its face. And then the one that I bought this whole bundle for, because I wanted to get this, is the Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered PS4 version. So I owned this for the PS3, and if I open it up you'll see that I've put the manual for it in there as I have with other games. It just makes it look like a more complete game, doesn't it? And then I traded in my PS3 version to CEX, I think for £1.20 or something. So ideally I could take that off the cost of this. The fact that I got all 5 games for £18 when this is worth, I think it's £12 on its own. Especially when the last game that I got in this bundle was a new and sealed copy of Lego Jurassic World. So I already own that game, but I didn't have it new and sealed, obviously. Easy condition upgrade for me. And I traded in my other copy. I can't remember if it was £6 or £8 at the time. But yeah, I take that £8 off and I got all of the games for £10. And then the trading price of Metal Gear, which I'm sure is like £3. So then I got the other 3 games for £7. As I say, this one is worth 12 on its own. So just another really good, a couple games picked up for what I see as a cheap price. And the most recent bundle I've had delivered, a bundle of 3 games. The first one is Jurassic World Evolution. Already own this, already platinumed this. I love Park Builders and I love this game. I also love the second one. And Frontier never go wrong with creating Park Builders. But because I've already got that, that'll be traded in. Another game I already had, the Callisto Protocol. I believe I own this on the PS5. Again, this will be getting traded in. I know a lot of people see this as a flop. I'm still interested to play it. I mean, you can see I'm not going to keep this one anyway because the artwork is cracked on the back. I love Dead Space, and this is one of them things that just took my interest. And now I've got it again on PS4, and I will trade that in for the, is it £3 or £5 you can get for that, and then I think it's £5 for this. But the game that I was interested in with this bundle is Dark Pictures Man of Medan. So in that Black Country Games Fair video I went to CX and I picked up Little Hope. I mean, I was planning to anyway, but one of the comments did recommend getting the others because Little Hope is seen as the worst one, I think. Obviously comes with everything. I know this was the first one, so this is probably the one I will start my journey with. So them 3 games I picked up for £9.50, and I believe these 2 trade in for more than that anyway. I think it's £10 or is it £8 I can get for them too, so maybe a little bit less. But still, that means I've got this game for what, £1, £2, or on the other side I've got 50p trade value over what I paid, and I got this game for free, which is the way I like to look at it. But yeah, they'll be getting traded in along with this one. So that's a little trade pile I've built up already, and I've got a couple of others to take in. Right then guys, so they were the pickups that I've got in the last month or so. Maybe a little bit longer than that because I've been saving them up for a bit. So just a bit of an update on my bookshelves. As you can see, they're a little bit different than they used to be. I've shortened the space in between each of the shelves, and it now perfectly fits for the PS4 game size and the PS3. And that's allowed me to put one whole extra shelf at the top. But the crazy thing to me is that one extra shelf along all 3 of these bookcases has cost me £40 for 3 pieces of wood, and I just think that is crazy. But it's gave me that space, and it's allowed, I don't know if you can see this part here, but space for expansion basically. And I've got to forward face some of my favourite or the more valuable games on the PS4, which is always nice to do when you can. But yeah, I'm happy with how this is looking. I'll quickly throw in a bit of footage here of the whole thing from top to bottom. But yeah, I'm just really happy with how that's looking. So I have more plans with this games room. I do want to change the corner behind where you are now and have Billy's in that corner. At the moment I have, I think it's called a Brimness or something like that. It's one of IKEA's bookcases with 2 drawers on the bottom. It's nice to have drawer space, but I would much rather have full-length Billy's. And with what I've measured, I'll be able to basically have a bit small Billy on the side and a long Billy. So I'll essentially have up to here, which will be a nice bit of extra storage in that corner. And I'm thinking maybe put the PS3 over there, keep this all PS4, PS5, but we'll see what I manage to do with that at the time. But for now, I've got space here to expand into. But let me know what you think was a good deal. Let me know which of the things that I picked up that you like the most. But if you've got to this point of the video, as always, I'd really do appreciate you watching, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.